bill, which is debate for upholding the override. Who wants to debate against the bill? Chairman?
No,
I'm sorry, that's four. I got all turned around now. Anybody want to debate for the against the bill for the override? Okay, Senator Brown.
All right, I'll be that guy. No, a couple things here. Originally, I was really for this bill, and I think in theory this is a good idea. However, we're losing a couple things here. Number one, the bill I think needs to be worked on. I think the fact that it doesn't define what a testing material is. Maybe your class you have to bring Legos to your exam, but you don't bring them that day. So is that testing material? Who knows? It's one of those things. Now on top of that, I think there's a certain level of personal responsibility. I agree. Hey, don't get me wrong. I've had those times where I'm sitting there getting ready, and I'm like, God, I gotta go get a Scantron. And I tell you, you gotta go get it. But you have to have that personal responsibility. If A&M's gonna sit there and take that completely out of your hands and just baby you all the way through college, what are they really teaching you? And I'll go over to the front of this.
Chair Smith, I completely agree with what Stephen's saying right now. This bill originally in its form, it did not list what administrators it's going to have to go to in order to implement this, in order to get it done on a specific time frame. It did not list what testing materials specifically was. I completely agree with the sentiment that our speakers set up at the very beginning of our session. We need to write quality, well-researched bills before they get to this floor. That way when we debate and we have Q&A, it's very, very quick, very, very concise, and we can get things done quickly and over to the exec cabinet for implementation. That's why this bill needs to be vetoed, and we can work on it later, and I'd be happy to work on it next session for you, Mark.
Well, point of information, did Bernie Smith vote for the bill when it was passed?
I will refer that to Chair Smith.
No, I did not.
Okay, cool. Wow.
Okay. With that, we're returned to debate. Or did you just yield the floor? Did somebody just yield the floor?
He said that.
Okay. Just want to make sure before I moved on. Chair McNutt.
Yeah, just real quick, guys. I think it's kind of funny that when it's convenient for things to be very, very complicated and bureaucratic, and we just don't want to bark up that tree, it's convenient. And at the same time, when we're Texas A&M, we're creative and we can find solutions. You just tell them the problem. We trust the administration to work on it and work through those details. They're paid to do it. That's convenient. And I think it's interesting that just whichever side we land on an issue, we can either play the bureaucratic card or we can play the no, we're Texas A&M card. Does that make sense? And so I'm a little bit frustrated. I think that's what's going on a little bit here. I encourage you to vote for what you think would benefit your constituencies the most. So thus, I think this is a service that most people that voted for me and the people that I've talked to would support. They find that the fact that people were required to have Scantrons for MRCL, I think this is something that students would support. And that's, I think, pretty much the only decision-making factor that you need to have. And with that, I yield to Senator Briscoe.
I think when we talk about personal responsibility and you tie it back to a Scantron, I'm sorry guys, but there are bigger things in the academic process than a Scantron. Before you get to the test, you have to study. You have to take the test responsibly. You have to go to class. If you forget a Scantron, you forget a Scantron. It's not the end of the world. Thanks to a lot of generosity of my fellow students, I've been able to receive Scantrons. Why not have the university help us all out? If we want to pay for a service, we should be able to receive it. And we speak for students. And I think the majority of students, as Mark demonstrated today with a little opinion polling, would agree that this does benefit students on the whole. With that, I yield to Womack.
All right, howdy. This is fun. So I think there are definitely some problems in this bill.
Don't point.
No, I'm not going to point them out. But I think on the whole, we have to focus on the fact that we can get into the implementation, the questions, and the vague stuff. That's not what's important. The thing that's important is on the whole, this is a good idea. So it's not like whenever this bill gets enacted, Crystal Usher must make all these vague statements happen or whatever. That's not the point. The VP of Academic Affairs can take this bill to the administration and say, hey, listen, we'd like to create a system where graded materials are provided for students. That's the idea. That's the big idea we're voting on. This bill's going to expire in a month, and we'll probably have to spend a 65th session getting this work done. But I think this sets a great precedent, saying that this would make students' lives a lot easier.
Okay, Senator Heath against. Withdrawn. Senator Roberts against the bill.
Mayor Roberts off campus. I like the student fee, one you brought up on questions, and I like the intent of the bill. But what's funny is when we're asking these questions about this bill, we all assume we're talking about scantrons here, and I think it's wise to let the veto go and then us write the bill properly so that we can do exactly what we need to do as far as getting students scantrons paid for. And I'm going to yield to Senator Brown.
Hey, just let y'all know a little bit here. This is something I've wanted since freshman year. I've kind of been thinking about this, but again, I think it's a little too vague. I think we really need to enact it. Mark, I love the idea. Don't get me wrong. I just think that we really 60. This bill's gonna expire anyway in a month. Let's be honest, A&M's not really gonna do anything with it, and I just think if you sit there, we really work on this, where we can develop this into what it really needs to be. I think we're going to be better off taking care of the students and having hard things. Okay, we're going to provide Scantrons and Blue Books, and that's it. Or we're going to provide the cup of coffee that SPP Pickering needs for his tests. You know, I'll go ahead and yield to Nicole Heath.
Nicole Heath, off campus. Basically, when Mark and I were just talking just now, he was like, well, this isn't completely binding. Exactly. Like, if we pass this and don't uphold this veto, we will say, yeah, we want you to charge us for testing materials, but I'm kind of afraid, I mean, big bad administration, you know, I'm kind of afraid they're not exactly going to stick to just fair market value, especially since it's not explicitly said in the bill. Plus, whenever they go to the administrator, or the academic fees and stuff, we don't have control over that anymore. That's completely out of our hands. And if we really want to stand up for students and make sure student fees are staying low, I'm afraid, like, yeah, fair market value maybe 10 cents, but the university can say, oh, well, we're just really going to charge them $2 for a Scantron. We won't have any say over that. We can say, have an opinion, but we won't really have say. And I think we learned during the elections what not being specific turns out like. If we're not specific right now, then what can happen? Plus, and if we do have the vending machine
20 seconds.
and we have profit, money could go to the endowment, which I think is really to me. I yield to
Floor? Okay. Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, I'm just making sure I'm in line.
Speaker?
Oh, yeah.
I motion to the previous question.
Motion is second, previous question has been seconded. All in favor of previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Ensure the nays have it. With that, we'll move to debate 4, Senator Womack. Senator Womack, debate 4.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Well, obviously I don't think I should talk right now. So does anybody else?
Yep, right.
I actually, I'll yield to Scott.
Engineering.
I just wanted to make a couple of quick points. You say the bill is not specific about testing materials. What other testing materials could there possibly be? I mean, a pencil, does that have to be provided? No, that would be ridiculous. Scantrons, Blue Books, maybe the paper that your test is printed on. Those are the only things I can even think of. Legos, if you're in one of the engineering classes that actually requires those, and those are provided. And if you don't believe me, there really are engineering classes that require you to use Legos in programming. But with that, I don't think we have to worry about specificity too much. There are so many different classes, so many different things going on in the school that every department is going to use this recommendation and tailor it to best fit their students. You are not going to have liberal arts majors paying for engineers to use their testing materials and stuff like that. This has to be broad because otherwise it can't really work as a possibility. Check that out.
Yeah, okay, personal responsibility thing. Let's not do anything for the students. Let them go participate in fair market. Okay, so let's get rid of the rec. Everybody go get a membership at Gold's down the street. Let's get a big writing center and let kids go hire a tutor. Okay, but why do we have these big things? Because it's a lot less expensive, okay, to be able to do it as a group. All right, and then secondly, the arguments that are being made against this bill, it's too vague. We can do it even better. What else? I don't think the administration is really going to do anything. So why not? You can make those arguments against any bill that we do. We don't have any final power on anything. You can always be more specific. You can always do more research. Okay. All this does is bring light to the administration a concern that students have. It's all it does. Don't freak out. Okay. And so this is going to bring it to their attention that hey, they want free Scantron. So whether we do it now or next year, let's work on it. Jody Harris.
right, so there was an argument made that it's too late in the session. The university's not going to be able to do anything with this bill. Then why are we here? Should we not have to go tonight? I mean, it's just a little ridiculous of an argument, if you ask me. I mean, there's still a good month for the university and for our executive branch to work on this bill.
And that concludes your time. With that, we'll move to debate against the bill. Senator Kim.
Senator Kim, Cloud Engineering. I just want to say, like Senator Cluckley said, that these are going to be included in our course fees. Am I right? And the same people who are making the argument for this bill are very adamant on not raising student fees at all. And coming from college engineering, as an engineer, we don't use Scantrons very much. Actually, I'm taking 17 hours right now, and none of my classes, I've never have used a Scantron. And who knows, like maybe physics or mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, you're like, oh, okay, we can actually add these to our student fees, maybe $1 or $2. And once we do that, and they're like, maybe we might use a Scantron, so we might as well just go add that in our student fees, or course fees, or whatever. And who knows how they're going to use that money, you know? And they might raise that. They might just say, hey, we could actually use this extra $1 or like 50 cents or whatever, and use it towards something else instead of actually using Scantrons. Because I know that I do not use any Scantrons. Like we don't know who makes the decisions, how the courses are going to be, what courses are going to have these fees or what courses aren't. So I use the.
Okay, I haven't been here for the whole argument, and I've never done this before, but I would like to say that a couple of months ago, I was at Mizzou, and they had a repurposed vending machine that was a Scantron machine, as well as it also had like small flash drives and pencils and erasers, and if SGA could do something like that and provide that to students. I've been on campus multiple times trying to find this, or when you have to go outside and find it, it's really convenient, and if SGA could do that, that would be awesome. I personally never use Scantrons, as he said. I use them like once every 6 months. But I think something else might be a better idea. Which I give it to him.
30 seconds.
The only other problem I have is that this is a good, idea, but if fees go over, let's say, 50 cents per class, then this makes no sense because if a class only uses 3 Scantrons, you can buy, you can buy that at the bookstore, and so if it goes above that, it would not make financial sense because then we'd be paying more for that fee than what we use in Scantrons. And I yield to
That's your time. Great. With that, debate.
Motion to move to previous question.
Motion to make previous question and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Make sure the ayes have it. We'll take previous question. Please get your clickers out loud.
Where's mine? There it is. You got it. On the end.
I was going to say, it's done.
I'm terrified. I don't
Hey, before we vote, 2 quick things. First of all, ring time for some first-time debaters. Actually, 3 things. Number 2, I've checked the email list, and I just want to go out. I mean, we didn't say who didn't show up at General Motors, but I do want to clarify. Chair Harris did not get the email. I've looked at it myself. I haven't looked for Chair McNutt, but I can go back and verify that also. Just because I'm not trying to besmirch each state. Yes. What?
Mr. Speaker, would you please clarify your vote?
Yes, I'm doing that next. That was my third point. My third point: if you are voting for, if you press the A button, you're voting for the bill and you want to overturn the veto. If you press the B button, you want to keep the veto and you don't want the bill. If you press C, you have no opinion, and if you press D or E, you have just failed.
Red light.
There is actually
Point of information, what was the whole thing about General Weber's house?
Oh, I used my officer report to point out some officers that have been fulfilling their duties.
You can vote president without
Ambiguously, I did not specify anybody.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't hear that.
It's the same.
Okay.
In the 63rd session, Justin Williams voted president.
With that,
Because he didn't understand.
does anybody, hold on, hush up. Does anybody need more time? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. It requires 2/3 to pass, and in the opinion of the chair, the veto override failed. No, the veto override fails, so we do not pass the bill. Yes, stage one.
Parliamentary inquiry.
Stage one.
Just because I was made aware that this was asked earlier. Can I just state this as a statement? It has nothing to do with any of these bills or anything. Attendance at a special session meeting is required. Any general meeting of the Student Senate that you have to attend. So 2 roll calls will be taken, and those who are absent will receive absences unless they have an excuse. Right.
We'll consider excused absences. I mean, you can submit them as usual. So, yeah. So anyways, okay, thank you. With that, so the veto override fails. Okay. With that, we'll move into the consent agenda. Is there any objection to the placement of any item on the consent agenda? Go. Senator Castellano, did you have something you wanted to say about it? Then go ahead and just pull it down. So I'll pull it down. Just say that you object. Okay, great. So with that, we will look at your resolution when we get down to after old business, when we get to new business. Okay, so we'll come back to your resolution. With that, we'll move into old business. SB 6451 Veterans Academic Standards Bill. And I'll just remind the body, we do have an extension until 11:30, but to get out of here, we got to get through all of these. So let's make these fast and not longer than they need to be.
Okay, howdy. Howdy. What this bill basically seeks to do, it seeks to create the Veteran Task Force as a permanent entity and as a student government that will be directed by the student body president that will work for veterans and their concerns. And it also stipulates a couple of items that could help veterans with their academic standing here at this university, specifically for their credit they receive through their military training they can possibly get here at this university, such as international cultural diversity, foreign language, sociology, that sort of thing. It is possible for them to get credit from their service and time they spend overseas and also here in the States learning how to become better officers and servants of our country. So if y'all would, any questions?
Senator Clark.
Hey, in this bill, I read it in its entirety, and obviously huge fan of veterans. Do you think that it's appropriate? I mean, you granting credit hours for in essence, I'm sorry, I got an impromptu presentation today. I can't talk now. In essence, you can allow a veteran to graduate with less than 120 hours accrued over the course of their AM career. Speak to that point of view.
The Texas state law allows up to 12 general 4 hours to be given to military service. We're talking about the basic STEM classes. I'm talking Com 1, English 1, things like that. Your question is echoing what a lot of people have been asking me, which is, can you come here and not do the time everyone else is doing and still get the Aggie degree? You always have to have a certain amount of residency hours. Nothing's going to change that. What this is saying is that we want A&M to actively uphold the law, because there's an option that they don't have to follow if they don't want to. It's very famous for Texas legislators to add a little out for everyone. That we want them to actively obey the law in the sense that we want them to try to give the full 12 credit hours to the veterans for their military service. Now, I want to add on to that. what they're getting credits for are stuff they've already done. When I left the Air Force, I left with a transcript with actual credits on it that are recognized by universities. The problem is there is no mechanism for them to relate, well, what does this mean? Because it's in military jargon.
Right.
So it's not that they haven't done the classes, they have. It's the equivalent of a transfer, if you will.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Great. Senator Jessup.
Or just a liberal arts. You said this was under the authority of the student body president. What happens if you get a student body president that doesn't like this idea and just sort of wants to can it?
Well, we've entertained that idea, and SGA is a special student government. I think is a pretty cool organization because we get to start things here. And if we can't start it here, we'll just take it to the next level and start it there. I don't see why they would do that, but if it happens, what's the saying? You can be a part of it or get out of the way. So,
Okay, with that, Chairman Dunn.
Thomas, because Student Services, Cody, speaking of next year, because we are at the end of the session, just out of curiosity, when you've spoken to the new student body president about this, what kind of reaction have you gotten about Veterans Affairs?
He's getting everything together. From my understanding, Taylor Sessions has been dealing a lot with him. I haven't been really dealing with him at all because I don't know if y'all know Taylor is the veteran that came and talked initially at the beginning of the year, and he's been taking charge of all this. I won't lie. Initially, it was kind of skeptical, but I think I can lay those fears to rest because it's echoing a lot of students' fears, which is they don't understand it. And I think through this and through more education, we can show people why it's a good thing. And be all honestly, I've kind of been avoiding the new SVP and a lot of this stuff because I've been focusing on my grades, but there we go.
Thanks.
Okay, further questions? Yeah, sorry, Senator Hutchinson.
Senator Hutchinson, freshman class. I like the education. Educate me one more question. With your transfer credit sort of transfer credit, can you get more than 12 hours?
Okay, yes, you can get more than 12 hours. What the law, when the legislators changed the laws, they wanted to basically encourage universities to get veterans in and out. Okay, because for every hour we're here, it costs you money. Because you're paying for my degree, I'm not paying for my degree. So that was the encouragement, to give them, to try to get schools to give them the hours that they've already gotten, but to accept those in a transfer way.
Follow up?
Sure, briefly.
They're not accepted as just like a regular university credit right now.
No. The services are all kind of, they all do their own thing. They all have their own standards, and there's no broad standard in place for the university to recognize. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. We've got 10 seconds.
Okay,
Make it quick.
really fast. When's the first step to standardize that code at A&M before you do anything else, like make a big motion and do this task force? Wouldn't that be the first step?
Well, actually, that's in here to be the first step, because that's the way I told Annabelle earlier. It's like a big tangled ball of string that nobody wants to sit down and tackle, because it's going to be complicated. It's going to be a process. This encourages that matrix to be built and that to happen.
Okay, that concludes our time for question and answer. We'll move into a period of debate. Yes, wait. Do you have an amendment to the bill? Okay. Can you make that to us and tell the body what it is? Is this it? Can you start explaining it?
Oh, okay. I have amendments to the bill to clarify a few things. Let's put it up. Basically, it changes a few semantics here and there, and it as the Veterans Initiative over this last year has done our research on this subject, because we've been spending a year trying to put this together. We've clarified it from when we initially had it way back in the day. I don't know if you remember. And this just clarifies it a little bit more. There's nothing too crazy about this. It just, you can scroll up. Okay, yeah, that's good. Scroll down. Scroll down. We got rid of number whereas 7. But we don't need that in there because we do have that. And it gives the authorization, we support the task force, And that's pretty much, it just clarifies a few words, that's all it does.
Okay, is there any debate against this amendment? Going once, going twice, chair deems debate one-sided. We'll take a quick vote. All in favor of adding this amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the chair, the ayes have it. So the amendment passes. So with that in mind, we're now at debate on the bill. Is there any debate against the bill? Going once, going twice. Seeing none, chair deems debate one-sided, and we will take a vote on this bill. This is SB 6451. Anybody need more time? Senator Luce, you got it? You good? Okay. Going once, going twice. Anyone need more time? And
Things on them, surely.
great, and this passes. So,
Figure out who the numbers were?
Senate, please stay in order. We'll move to SB 6486, the Lot 96 1-hour parking bill.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is wasn't paying attention. Good. Make this quick.
Yes, I move to amend the rules of debate to change the time for presentation to 3 minutes with 2 minutes of question and answer. And seconded.
Okay, so no change to debate, just presentation, question, and answer.
Correct.
Okay, it's been seconded. All in favor of that change, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so we're now at 3 minutes of presentation, 2 minutes of question and answer, then into debate. Have that.
All right, so basically, there's Lot 96 now. It services the new AgriLife Center and the Agriculture and Life Sciences Complex. Whoop. Basically, this is a faculty parking lot. But when they built the faculty parking lot next to this event center, they put these two. There's these two extra parking spots that are they're not really parking spots, but they're not really not parking spots, and so people have been parking there. They recently put up some cones to sort of keep people from parking there. What this bill advocates for is that those be turned into 1-hour spaces. And the reason that we need 1-hour spaces there is because there's an event center right there. People who don't have parking passes, or people who aren't involved with the university as a student or a faculty member or a staff member, they don't have parking placards. And so they need a little place where they can kind of come in and park and just sort of like set their event up, or this also advocates, there used to be a curb there where Rudder Tower could park there and put all the, get all their stuff out and set up tables and stuff. That curb is no longer available to the university. And we're asking them that they allow their own people to park there, which is kind of strange. We are dealing with a state agency here, sort of, but it's a very convoluted thing between the College of Ag and then AgriLife, which is a state agency. Basically, that's the gist of this. I'm going to end the presentation with that and let you ask questions.
Okay, Senator Mandry.
Tyler Mandry, engineering. Do you think that some students will try to take advantage of this if they have a 15-minute class?
Absolutely.
And do you see that as being a problem?
I don't think that a lot of students are going to know that those spaces are there. I don't advocate for the fact that it should be advertised. And perhaps if that is something the body is worried about, we could amend that, to be a lesser amount of time. I don't think we're going to get an hour. I sort of went to an hour because I'm hoping that when we go to talk to transportation services, they may compromise with us. I don't want to compromise before we go into the meeting because then they may compromise further. I did. Because I believe in my point.
Very confident man. I love it.
Okay, Senator Jessup.
Mark Jessup, Liberal Arts. Do you foresee any other problems with this? Anything that would cause a hesitation in the vote? Yes.
I don't see anything wrong with this. I have talked to transportation. I wanted to get this bill out and make this official opinion before we went to talk to transportation. Only opposition I see to this is perhaps some of the faculty in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences.
Thank you.
Senator Oswego.
Senator Oswego, College of Ag and Life Sciences. Have you considered that there might be additions to
faculty members, and that might be why there are extra spots in faculty.
Okay, so they're not actually spots. Basically, what happens is they have this little flower bed here. And so say this is the flower bed, and there's parking spots here, 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 and then it comes back around and it's like all the way over here. There is no, it ends here. And so there's an extra car width here that has no line. And so the flower bed is just literally extended out, and that's what's created this extra parking spot where people have essentially made those parking spots. And so they were not intentionally made to be parking spots originally. And I feel like if they were trying to incorporate, if they were trying to anticipate additional faculty members in the college or in AgriLife or whatever state agency, vice chancellor's office, they would have already numbered those as other ones have been numbered.
Okay, and that concludes our time for question and answer. So with that, we'll move into a period of debate. Debate against the bill. Going once, going twice. Seeing none, chair will deem debate one-sided. We will take a vote on SB 6486. And real quick, while you're voting, Senator Cluckley, what was your bill that got voted out? Which one was that?
The placard bill? It was.
Yeah, the placard bill.
Not 69.
It was not.
That would not help me narrow down the year. 74? Okay. Oh, that's right. 70. Wait, 74 is, I'll figure it out. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, go any more time, going once, going twice. Okay, close. Thank you. Passes. With that, we'll move to SB 6493, the Student Involvement Credit Bill.
Okay. Howdy again.
Howdy.
All right. What this bill basically does in a nutshell is it advocates for allowing the administration to look at student involvement in their organizations here on Texas A&M University and their leadership involvement, their charity involvement, business, academic professionalism. They can look at your involvement through student activities. And this bill proposes that you allow students to get credit for being involved in student organizations. Some of these organizations that you're involved in, you get to work with U.S. senators and congressmen. You get to go to Capitol Hill. You get to work with major nonprofit international corporations. You get to work with several entities and whatnot through internships that you can easily get course credit for in being involved in the business world. And this is really a practical issue considering that the budget cuts are coming in 2013. We need to get more bang for our buck, and we're already spending a lot of time, specifically here in Student Senate also. We could get credit for being involved in these organizations, and I think if we can shorten the amount of money that's coming out of our pocket, let's do that. Is this going to be a long and drawn-out process starting with this bill? Yes, but we need to start. And this is something that students actually want, because this is something that I and several of my fellow candidates that ran for student body president this past year did want. So, questions?
Chair will advise there are already 6 questions, and we only technically have 2 minutes. So does anybody want to go ahead and give us?
I'll do that.
Senator Clacton.
Move it to 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay.
Sure.
Is there a second? There is a second. All in favor of 10-minute quick Q&A, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Any sure the ayes do have it. So with that, Senator Cluckley, you have first question.
Perfect. I actually wrote this one down for you, Brody. This is a hypothetical question. Would you still have a student that was writing a resume, have organizations they participated on that resume, having they already received class credit for it, and therefore double representing what they have done in their college career on their resume?
So are you saying like...
If I was in Senate and I got 6 hours of credit for Senate, would you still have me list Senate on my resume to double represent what I had done in college on my resume with my degree plan and what I had listed as my extracurriculars?
I think what you would do for your resume is write down that you...
Not me.
Well, what I would do is write down on my resume that I got course credit and leadership development credit from being involved in an organization.
Brief follow-up?
Yes, you may.
And your massive amounts of business knowledge and experience that you clearly have.
Careful.
Sorry.
Good job.
Apologize. That you advocate for on a regular basis, how do you think that would be perceived by a corporation like ExxonMobil?
Well, just to give you an example, not to use ExxonMobil as an example, but for me, when I was involved in an organization called CUFI, Christians United for Israel, we went to Washington, D.C. to advocate for foreign policy in regards to the nation of Israel. We got to work with Chet Edwards, Senator Cornyn, Senator Hutchinson. We got to go meet with them for a couple of days. That was really, really good experience. You got to really enlighten me what life on the Hill is really like, what they have to go through. And I guarantee you, they do not teach you all the ins and outs of what goes on in Washington, D.C. in the classrooms here at Texas A&M. So you can stress that and show that your experience did help you to learn and also to grow as an individual.
He didn't really answer our question. Going back to business experience, not government experience, how does that work?
He can answer your question however he wants to.
Oh.
So does that conclude your answer?
I can follow up.
You can, then if you'd like to follow up, you
Okay.
can.
For business, if you were to be involved in a student organization such as Business Student Council, and you were to go and work with, in their career fair, you have to work with several. They have over 60 businesses that come to their career fairs. If you have to work with their company liaisons, and if you want to go in like the human resource management, that is a really, really good place to start and get some credit for yourself on your resume.
Perfect.
Okay, with that, Senator Mantry. Wow, we've got a lot of questions.
Tyler Mandry, college engineer. Brady, have you talked with any faculty or administration about this?
Yes, Dr. Watson, when she was previously here talking to us a few weeks back, and I asked this question specifically to her, and then afterwards I asked her how long was this going to take to implement, and she said a long time, but if we start now, maybe 2 or 3 years.
Okay, Senator Woolsey.
Chris Woolsey, Northside. So would there be anything, let me think how I want to phrase this so it makes sense. If a student is involved in these groups, is there any way to make sure that the student can still get credit for any of them, even if it's like something that is a religious or political group that the university would be hesitant to give credit for?
Okay. That comes down to certain electives part on Motivate Active 1. There's also a tie-in with student activities. These organizations need to be recognized by the Department of Student Activities in order for the the faculty advisors of these student organizations to look at these students that are applying for credit and say, okay, they've done the work, they've done a job, I certified them to get this credit through the university, and that would be the way that they would get the course credit.
Brief follow-up?
I'll have to come back to you.
Okay.
Senator Briscoe.
Hi, Tyler Briscoe off campus. Would there be any curriculum planning involved? I mean, it seems like this could easily result in basically nobody learning anything but doing a lot of activities that are fun. I mean, there's not any academic, how would you define academic standards for organizational involvement?
I'm going to start off with a quotation that Dr. Watson gave me. We have to be careful of becoming a community of shallow learners. And the way she would do that is we would have to outline, see here it says leadership studies, communication, humanities, socials, and behavioral sciences, political science, and certain electives. We would have to clearly outline what those are. And that would have to be a process with both the faculty senate, the AOC deans, Dr. Ann Kittimer, the associate provost undergrad studies, and Dr. Watson. We would have to sit down with student government to figure out what we would allow for those credits. And then once the process is done, 2 or 3 years, we have the catalog gone over the fine-tooth comb. Then we could then allocate to the new student conferences, okay, if you want to get involved, there is a possibility that you could get credit for these courses, but you have to do this in order to get it.
Thank you.
Okay, Senator Hutchinson.
Howdy, Senator Hutchinson, freshman class. Brody, I'm a little shaky on this bill, say for instance I read a lot of books about history. To place out of like a history test here, I still have to take a CLEP test, take the test, and I can get credit for that, by not going to class. With this bill, or your idea, would students have to take a test maybe at the end to prove their knowledge of that subject?
For the very beginning, when you get certified by student activities with their advisors, they're going to have to prove through a list of the activities they participated in their student organizations. They're going to prove that they measured up to the constitutions of their student organizations. And if they do that with in mind with the course credit they're aiming for on the list that we're going to generate through this bill at one point, then they would be eligible for the credit. As far as the test goes, I can definitely ask for that. But I don't really think there would be, because if you go through the experience and you can prove that you do have it through working with your advisor, then you shouldn't be able to worry about it, because your advisors are faculty advisors in most cases, and they do work with student activities in order to ensure that they are doing their jobs, and they can definitely tell what their organization parameters are and whether or not their members have followed through with it.
Thank you.
Okay, 3.5 minutes. Senator Wasapika. Okay, Senator Heath.
Nicole Heath, off campus. I have just a couple questions for clarification. Are you saying like student senate would take place of like your polygraph classes or something, if your intro work were required?
Possibly, if you can prove that you worked, if you worked on certain parameters through RR on the Constitution, if you learned parliamentary procedure, there are several different aspects that you can try for through that. But for just the basic level, yes, you probably could.
Do you not think those classes kind of supplement what we learned here as well as what we learned there? Does that doesn't make this is just a question? But like
It's technically out of order to ask follow-ups. Can you quick?
Sometimes I think that what we learn in those classes helps here too. But also, how do you also, organizations, for example, Texas State Conservatives, isn't the administration's most favorite organization. Would they still have the opportunity to like still get the same credit as an organization that the administration really loves? Does that make sense?
That would be something that we had to discuss with faculty senate, because they would be the ones that would set that parameter, whether or not for political ideology, political parties, that would be something that they would have to look at. I don't, as far as, but I do know they would be the person we have to work with.
Senator Brown is not here.
Point of personal preference.
Station point.
Can the senators that are not in the room be called into the governance room?
You think which one? Thank you for Senator Brown.
Jackie here at off campus. I'm wondering if, let's say, certain organizations are deemed those that are able to get academic credit and then some aren't. That kind of makes me worried, because I feel like those organizations will be kind of put on a pedestal and seen a little subconsciously prestigious, and then the other ones will kind of be undermined and maybe seen as not as worthy of the organization. Do you kind of think that?
Well, here's the thing. With leadership studies, when you motivate as an officer in your student organizations, you are responsible for motivating, delegating, providing a set of responsibilities, upholding your student constitution for student activities. Being a student leader, you are learning how to work in the business world when you get out of here. And through leadership studies, the department that we have here, which is an interdisciplinary study, you can get credit through that. And even though it may not be an academic professional organization, it may be more of a just a personal development organization, they can still get leadership studies credit. And I think that's more than fair. Because if they can qualify for something, let's give it to them. Let's give them every single opportunity that they can. If they're willing to put in their time and effort to develop themselves, develop their organizations, and develop their skills for outside this university, I say let's give them everything we can.
I have to come back to time. 30 seconds, Senator Major. Yes, Mr. Point.
Q&A by 2 minutes.
A motion to extend by 2 minutes. There's been seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And Madam Chair, we're extended by 2 minutes, so we got 2.5 minutes left. Sorry, Senator Van
Tom Andrew. So how do we go about, you mentioned there's already maybe a process to get credit for leadership studies. How do we go about assessing the quality of a job that someone did? What if someone just did the minimum to get by, didn't do anything for the organization? It's kind of a really qualitative assessment. So do you know how we approach that?
Through the way in which you would get credit, we're going to set up a process in order to do it. For every single individual class, we're going to set a parameter. We're going to have to look through all the recognized student organizations and student activities, see what they're eligible for through the course credits that we can line them up with. Now, not every single organization is the same. I'm going to give you that. But for certain credits, such as leadership studies and communication, easily you can get credit. You can get credit in every single student organization there. Delegation, communication, responsibility, setting goals, setting a leadership structure, constitution building. those you can all get those. So there are certain credits that every single student organization can get, but where they differentiate is their different skill sets they can use.
Okay, with that, Senator Jessup is out of the room. And Senator Struvel's spot.
Senator Williamson, Senator Struvel's placard.
Thank you, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Senator Williamson off campus. My question is this: if I am a high school senior and I've got into A&M and I'm going to be an incoming freshman, because the bill states if you want to be further active, number 2, let me see, 2 or 3. Number 3, that the students can apply for credit beginning of the freshman year. Should I take my high school resume / transcript and bring it to look to get credit for it?
The intention is built, freshmen here at A&M through their senior year at A&M, not high school.
Okay, so basically at the beginning of your freshman year, you wouldn't have your organization.
At the beginning of your freshman year, you are able to opt in and go out to MSC Open House and go and look at organizations here at Texas A&M University and apply to get in. So you have the opportunity starting in your first semester here to get into organizations. So we need to make sure at new student conferences and your fish camp that students are aware of this.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, 5 seconds real quick, Senator King. I'll give you like a 1 second, 1 sentence
In
question.
legal arts, is there a cap to how many, or can I just join 10 organizations and knock out all my electives?
There needs to be a cap.
Okay, that concludes our time for, thank you. That concludes our time. Senator Cleckley, you have debate against.
Perfect. There's a lot going on here. First things, I want to start with the end of that. The thing that was brought up was, freshmen don't have any organizations, they have to apply to get into them. That means that this is not going to be available to every student. There's a lot of people that ran for Senate that didn't get in. There's a lot of opportunities that people aren't eligible for because they apply and don't get in. And so this would create students that can use the system that we're trying to create and students that cannot, which is a huge thing. That's not good. This is something that I feel like we're rushing into a lot. This is a way to get our degrees discredited. This is something that I think that Texas Tech would do. It seems inappropriate to mix things that I do. Personally, I'm involved to set myself apart and better myself outside of the classroom. That's what makes me different than a lot of other people that are also applying for jobs with me. The reason that I've had a high level of success in that hunt. That people look at my resume and they see these organizations that I've been, they see these leadership positions that I've been in, and it helps them overlook my terrible GPR. It's a counterbalancing act, and I don't think it's appropriate to mix the other education that A&M is so goddamn proud of with the classroom education. It's just simply not right. We preach the other education, we preach it so hard, and I believe in it, and I think that you need both halves of the whole, the classroom education and the other education, to come out of here as a fighting Texas Aggie, that you have a ring and you're proud of it, that you have the core values instilled in you, that you are an A&M graduate that people want to hire. Tell Briscoe.
Despite Brody's attempt to try to convince me that there would be academic standards with this, I've never heard of this at another university, and I still think it's just kind of ridiculous. And it's also not fair. I'm sorry, I'm a biology major. There's no way that I can learn anything that I can apply toward my degree directly from being in an activity. I'm sorry, it's not possible. However, we do have organizations on campus that you can take for credit. Tanner and I were both member of one of them. It's called UBM. We had faculty come present to us. We ate pizza. It was glorious, and they hooked us up with research positions. You can create classes. Faculty can do that. I mean, it's not up for us to kind of teach each other. We're here to learn from people with experience in our field, and I'm kind of tired of us as a body devaluing our extremely amazing faculty that we have here. I'm sorry, I said it. I like faculty. And I think for a change, it would be great if we could just let them do what we hired them to do, and that is teach. If we want to be like other universities, we don't want to, that's fine, but I think we should let our faculty do what they do best.
Thank you. I'll state for the body, I accidentally let them go over by 20 seconds, so I'll give the next group 20 seconds. I apologize for that. For Chair Smith.
Chair Smith, Economic Affairs. Let me just go ahead and for the record state, This is along the lines of Aggies Commit. When Dr. Watson came here and gave a presentation for all of us to see, she mentioned that it's along with the Aggie education, the organizations and student environment that we create here at this university in terms of responsibility and learning how to be better for the future in the business world is unmatched. And when Aggies Commit starts to go into effect this next year, this is something that we brought up in our QEP and accreditation this past year. So I think that this is actually very, very relevant. And for another thing, when budget cuts go into effect next year, we're going to lose faculty. I hate to say this, because they are some of the best and most outstanding positions we have here at this university. They are great people. They'll help you they can hook you up with research positions, letters of recommendation to pre-professional schools. They do not need to go. But the thing is, in order to help lighten the load on those that do leave, on the ones that remain, we need to make sure we can find every opportunity we can to maximize our educational experience, and this is one way to do it. Now, I do not necessarily agree with some of my opponents in this room, but I do think that this is an opportunity that we should give students, and it's one that it's going to take years in order to pull off properly. That's why it's going to take a long process. I did not write this bill in order to get it done next week. If that was great, Crystal Usher would be trying to stab me right now. But still, I think that we can pull this off in a very tasteful way in order to help students, help our administration, and our university in the long run. And with that, I yield to Jody Harris.
All right, so there was 2 points that I want to refute real quick. One, that this isn't fair because not everybody can be in the organizations that they want to be. There are over 800 student organizations, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brody Smith, but we are not discriminating against any organization. We're not trying to put one, like student government can do this, but Aggie Relay for Life can't do this. That's not what we're saying. We're not dividing the student body. Number 2, it doesn't matter what your major is. Everybody has a core, everybody has to do the university core classes there. What's it called?
Core curriculum.
Core curriculum, thank you. Everybody has to go through the core curriculum. And I don't believe this is advocating that this take the place or give you credit for any of your major classes. This is asking that it count for a credit in the core curriculum. This applies to all majors, everybody. And I yield the floor.
Okay, with that, we'll move to debate against Senator Woolsey.
Yeah. All right, my problem with this is that I perceive that the university is going to find every way to discriminate against groups they don't like patriotic conservatives. Contrary to what was said, we're not affiliated with any political party. But everyone hates us equally, so I'm fine with that. So my problem is that they're going to alienate organizations that they don't agree with in any way, and they're going to kind of call these organizations that I'll go there. That they really like, and that they just do such wonderful things. So I perceive that this would be bad. It would let the administration kind of play favorites even more. So unless there was specific language in there that said everyone had to be represented equally, then I do not believe that the administration would treat everyone equally. And with that, I yield to Senator Sosa.
I agree that we have to, like the testing material bill, it's a good idea, but it needs work, and that's probably something that we should look at in the 65th Senate. And with that, I move to table this bill.
Motion has been moved to table this bill. It's been seconded. This is a debatable motion. Yes.
Point of parliamentary inquiry. Because this is the last meeting that we can pass legislation, is tabling a bill in order?
Technically, yes. Now, someone could pull it from the table before the end of this meeting. If this bill is not pulled from the table before the end of this meeting, then it's effectively dead because it can't pass in the joint session.
Makes sense.
So, with that, tabling is debatable. Somebody help me out. I'm sorry.
No,
it's not.
No.
No, it's not. Okay, I apologize. Okay, all in favor of tabling this bill, please say aye.
Point of correction?
Yes, Stitch Point.
You said that tabling it would effectively kill it.
That's correct. Unless somebody untabled it or brought it from the table
today
before the end of the meeting. Correct. Correct. Perfect. Okay. All in favor of tabling this bill, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Oh, okay. Chair calls on division. All in favor, please stand.
favor of?
Table. All in favor of tabling the bill?
They're upset, they don't count. Block them.
Make a decision, make 3, 2, 1, make a decision. Okay, 22, all opposed, please stand. 10. So that carries a supermajority, definitely passes. This bill is tabled. With that, we'll move into I'm sorry, we're going to go to SB 6478. I normally go in order of bills, and this is the Cleckley bill that I missed.
Yes!
So this is the Parents' Weekend, or Parents of the Year thing.
It's gone through a lot of name changes.
Yeah.
This bill is effectively, and this, I didn't think it was going to be necessary to bring it forth, and that's why it's coming in so late. But there's a lot of organizations that give out, especially within SGA, that give out awards every year to donors, to Parents of the Year, to carpool exceptional people, and there's a lot of people that display these plaques all around campus. And this bill is effectively requiring people to update their plaques, because it's really embarrassing when you receive an award and then you walk by the plaque that displays the recipients of that award and your name's not there. And this was brought up specifically by the Parents of the Year plaque that's 3 or 4 years out of date. On a personal note, my parents were Parents of the Year, and every time my dad comes to campus, he goes and walks by the flag, and I'm like, oh, our names still are on there. Guess we're not as good as the people that donated the bus. And that's shameful. If you're going to give an award, you need to update your plaque. And I said I didn't think it was going to be necessary, but I recently received, the runaround by Parents Weekend when I approached them about it. They're like, well, that's not my responsibility anymore. My responsibility is moved on to the new person. And that's also just not appropriate. People need to take care of their stuff that they're gonna, if you're gonna have money to give an award, and you're gonna give recognition, you have money to buy a $1 plaque from Awards and More and stick it on your permanent plaque. It's not that difficult. It's a great bill. You should vote for it unanimously.
Okay, with that, and Senate, I apologize, this is presented in open session last time? Is that
it wasn't last time, it was months ago.
Months ago. Okay, I remember it.
And it was stuck in committee this whole time because we didn't think it was going to be necessary, and we were going to talk to people individually.
Okay.
And we brought it back.
We're trying to get were any changes made?
No.
No changes were made in committee.
No.
We're trying to dig back.
They said, Mark Ludwig, you wrote this bill, it's a great bill.
I mean, to us.
They said, you wrote it, it's great.
I see. We're trying to find a copy of that to re-send out. It's been sent out to you previously, so you should have it somewhere, but I'm going to try and pull up another copy. I'll log in. Real quick, does anybody have any questions to get started? Chair Harris.
So, Mark.
Yeah.
Does this require anything of any organization that's not a part of SGA?
It doesn't require anything, because I think that we should focus this on SGA, because I'm not going to go and tell Aggie Relay what to do. I know nothing about Aggie Relay, but I think this is an opportunity for us to really take accountability for our area.
And just brief follow-up.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe Parents Weekend is a part of, it's under
Yes.
the SGA umbrella.
It is.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, further questions? I just sent it out to you, so you should be getting it in 2 seconds.
It's a really nice looking bill.
Apologize. Further questions? Going once, going twice, seeing none, Chair will close question and answer. Moving to a period of debate on the bill. Is there any debate against this bill? Going once, going twice, seeing none, Chair deems debate one-sided. We'll take a vote on SB 6478. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Any further time? Going once, going twice, we'll close it. And if you share this, definitely passes. So with that, we'll move into SB 6494 Fall Break Implementation Bill.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes?
I move to table this bill.
You move to table the Fall Break Implementation Bill. Okay, motion has been made to table the bill. Is there a second?
Point
Point of information.
Are we allowed to know why he wants to table it?
I'll direct that to Chair Smith. You can briefly, 1 or 2 sentences, explain why you want to table it.
There is another bill I want to bring up after all the bills in old session and old business are brought up, and it will clarify a lot of other things once it's brought up.
Yes, Dave, point.
You know what I'm already about to ask, can we pass any new bills at the next meeting?
That is, we
So
cannot
this
pass
would
it.
have to be emergency legislation?
It would have to be emergency legislation.
Oh, it can be pulled out of
And then it would be just old business.
Yes.
Yes, no, it would be old
Was
business.
it presented as new business before? Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
So yes. So with that, it's been seconded. All in favor of tabling the bill, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, the opinion of the chair, SB 6494 is also tabled. With that, we'll move into presentation on SB 6495, fast track and double major promotion bill.
Okay, this is something. Howdy, guys.
Howdy.
This is a bill that kind of harkens back to my freshman year. I started out as a biology major, and now I am a history and political science double major. It's kind of weird, right? For one thing, when I had my NSC freshman orientation, fast tracks were not hit on as much as they should have been. We were not given all of our options what we could do in a 4 years time that we could take. We would get 5 years worth of credit in 4 years time. I really would have liked students to have been fully aware of that, especially considering we're trying to get students out of here in 4 years and have the best educational experience they can. I want to make sure that fast tracks are mentioned. We have several here. Our speaker is doing one right now. There is one where we can actually do 3 years here at Texas A&M. Actually 4 years here at Texas A&M, actually go to South Texas School of Law and get out of law school in that 1 year. So that's a 5-year plan we can actually do through fast track. And double majors, I have from Beth DeVoe on the Academic Affairs Committee and Senate. The more double majors there are that go outside of one college, they broaden their educational environment. And when people look on your resumes for job interviews and for job appointments, they look at that. They see that you challenge yourself and you went way outside of your comfort zone. And they will see that you took 2 sets of curriculum and combined them into 1 degree, and they will really, really like you for that. So that's based on an Aggie's experience of over 30 years here. So I definitely took her advice to heart. I hope all of you do tonight. This bill is very, very straightforward. It's something that can be implemented very, very easily over the summer at News and conferences. Questions, please.
Okay, with that, Senator Cleckley, first question.
Hey, Brody. There's a lot of things I want to ask, but I only have one question right now. What would you say to a business major who's outlawed to double major by the Captain Mays?
That's something we need to talk to Strausser about.
Follow up? Can I have one? Thank you.
I'm sorry, was that, yes, follow up?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I apologize.
We're already at a university with record-setting enrollment, and you mentioned this, trying to get people out faster. How is double major not counterintuitive to getting people out the door faster?
For double majors, no minors. You don't have to worry about taking a minor if you're a double major.
Yes, you may.
Perfect. So getting a double major is slower than getting a single major with no minors.
Well, with every single major that I've encountered, you have to have a minor at some point in degree. But for double majors, the stipulation is you don't have to have a minor at all because you have 2 sets of curriculum. You're taking 2 majors. Basically.
Do you know if that's specific to liberal arts or?
It's not at all.
Because as a business major, I'm not required to get a minor. I did one, so
All right, before everybody starts telling me about their major, just let okay, Senator Clark, are there any further questions?
I think I'm good.
Okay, seeing none. Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Lestavita, 30 seconds.
Have you taken into consideration differences within the colleges? I'm a double degree in the College of Liberal Arts and the College of Ag and Life Sciences, and they don't really go hand in hand. So how are you going to facilitate the colleges working together? For example, if you're getting a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Science and the differences in those degree plans, etc.
In order to do that, what you have to do is the UAC, the University Advisory Council, they have a representative on the AOC deans. We have a direct line to them through the AOC deans, and every single AOC dean is directly connected to every single college. For double major coordination, what they would do is, in order to make sure that the colleges can accommodate one another, they can individually set mandates that can be taken care of in 6 to 8 months. That's the way they operate. They're very, very efficient. So if we have any problems between the colleges for an individual double major, then they can take care of it with one of their 4 meetings during the year. They're set that way, they're a UCOM, and everybody's welcome to go and ask questions of them.
Okay, that concludes our time for question and answer. So with that, we're going to go into a period of debate. Senator Fleckley, debate against.
All right. I'm a big fan of double majors. I was denied one. Thanks again, Captain Mays. But I just don't think and I'm not just against things willy-nilly. Like, I do plan out my arguments. They're all printed out. I don't think it's appropriate for us to tell advisors how to block advise people. It's not right for every student to have a double major, and I don't think it should be pushed upon them in these emails being sent out by the academic advisors. Let advisors advise students individually. They're such great people. Cheryl Lampo, watch this. I love you. You're perfect. Christy Moore, same way. And so it's so inappropriate to try to block advise people. We have individual advising appointments for a reason. Your advisor gets to know you. They're your ally in your battle against grades. They're wonderful people. Pay attention in the back. Thank you. You need to let your advisor do their job for you as an individual. They're great people. They'll help you out. They'll help you guide you to what is right for you. There's no need for this. If they think a double major is right for you, that's great. They can advise you towards it. If not, if Cheryl Lampo told me, hey, you should really check out this double major, I would tell her, you're crazy. I had a 1.0 last semester. Thanks. And so it's inappropriate. She used the words of Mark Womack.
Okay, with that, debate 4, first, Chair Smith.
Chair Smith, Academic Affairs. All right, howdy.
Howdy.
In Let It Be Further Enacted 2, it says, promote and advertise the existence of available fashion and double majors throughout their college. It doesn't say force them to take them. Just let people know that they are there and available if they want to. Just to make sure that they're taking full advantage of every educational opportunity that comes their way. This is not in any way, shape, or form to try to force people to take different educational tracks. This is just where when they go through the student conferences, when they talk to their advisors, that they at least make students aware these opportunities are there for them. They are not there to be forced upon them, and if they want to take advantage of them, their advisors, as Mark said, will help. So, I yield to Senator Hutchinson.
Senator Hutchinson, freshman class. This bill would actually help me. I didn't know what a fast track was before coming in here, and actually, I'm coming in with a lot of hours. As a freshman, I'm coming in with 30 hours, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with that. Didn't get a lot of help in my new student conference, and if I would have known that I could double major, which I'm going to double major now, I could have known that before and have looked into that more and put more research into it. It would have just helped me, let me know sooner what my options were, and I think it would have helped me a lot. I don't think that this bill, I don't really think it micromanages advisors. I think it's just letting them know that we would like to know more about it, and that students, younger students, probably need to know more about it, especially because a lot of students are now coming in with more hours sooner. I mean, I have a friend that's coming in with 57 hours as a freshman. Ridiculous, I know. Students are getting more and more credit, dual credit, AP credit in high school, and this information would be helpful for them. Yield to, are you Matt Van Dyke?
Yes. I have a similar situation as well. I was pursuing, I'm a biology major, I pursued double major in genetics, which is in a different department, like 2.5 years after I got here, because that's when I found out that it was possible. And then it turns out that I couldn't get it anyway because I had already taken classes that I would have had to convert to, anyways, big convoluted mess. If I had known about it when I was first registering for classes as a freshman, or hey, this is possible, you could do this if you want, then I might have a double major right now, but I don't. So, anybody else? I'll yield to you, Mr. Knox.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was our time. I'm sorry. I didn't want to let you get started and then cut you off right at the end. But, is debate against Senator Fleckley?
Yes, sir. I'm going to make this quick. Look, there's already been a lot of argument tonight about let's be specific, let's not be specific. This bill is written in a way that we're passing a bill representing all students that excludes certain colleges. I mean, there's a clause in here that says something about every major has to have a minor. That's clearly not true. We've already established that. So let's table this bill, let it be hashed out in the 65th, where I'm not here to debate against it, woo, and then you can get it passed in an appropriate way that it excludes Mays, excludes other colleges that just simply just don't allow for this to happen. I can't get a double major. There's no way. I'm going to say in hell that I'm going to vote for this bill because it doesn't apply to me. It doesn't apply to anybody in my college. It doesn't apply to any of my constituents who have to live off campus who are in the business school. That's all I know, because I'm a business major with one minor, not required. It's fine. Table the bill, put it down, walk away from it, and then do it next year, appropriately written. And I yield to the floor and move for previous question.
Motion has been made for previous question. Is there a second? All in favor of previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any chair, the ayes do have it. We will take a vote on SB 6495.
I'm gonna put this down because it doesn't apply to me because I'm graduating. Just because it doesn't apply to me. Because it's me. It's me! Really, there's a lot of money. Oh, I do. There's a lot of blue on there. It gives me yellow, right? So there's a lot of blue up there.
Further time, going once, going twice. And this passes. SB 6496, Hazelwood Act bill.
Howdy. The Hazelwood Act is a bill that went through the Texas legislature that allows for the dependents of disabled or deceased veterans to receive benefits here at this university. Now, back at the TFAC meeting in February 15th, Dr. Lofton mentioned this quite a few times in a negative way. I don't know what his true intentions are down the line. I don't know what the university's intentions are for this down the line. But I want to know because this will affect veterans, and I want to make sure that we as Student Government Association are well represented on the facts and that we can make an informed decision. What this bill will do is open a dialogue with the top administrative staff so we can know when the Texas legislature opens up in January 2013, we can take an opinion through the LR Commission that we'll be able to say yay or nay to either keeping this act here at A&M or whether or not we need to kill it. So, questions?
Okay, with that, are there any questions? Senator Heath. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Senator Ganu.
Just a quick question. So is this saying that Hazelwood would allocate more money to it, or I'm just kind of confused.
The Hazelwood Act is a system set up by the Texas legislature for Texas public universities to provide funds for disabled or deceased veterans that are dependent. That means their wives, spouses, children. That's the way it's set up now. There's technically no funding allocated from the state for it. Technically, the money's coming off the backs of everybody here at Texas A&M. But I don't know what they're going to do with the legislation according to the administration because Dr. Lofton was kind of vague, but he did mention it several times. I want to know what they're thinking, and I want to know what we need to do.
Okay, further questions? Going once, Senator Woolsey.
Yeah. Chris Woolsey, Northside. So just to clarify this, you want the SGA involved in the talks with the administration about this act?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay, further questions? Senator Sterrier.
Off campus. So in addition to asking like this clarification, you also say that you want the Hazelwood Act to be funded by the Texas legislature in your amendment for Enacted 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Because right now, the funding is coming from this university, and if the state can take that money, take some money from the state and give it to us, that would be more funding here at this university we can use on for any other initiatives we can use.
Yes, but it's not purely a clarification. You're also asking for action to be done, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, further questions? Going once, going twice. Okay, seeing none, Chair will close question and answer. We will move into period of debate. Debate against the Hazelwood Act bill.
Mr. Speaker, I
Yes.
move to amend this bill.
Motion has been made to amend the bill.
To strike enacted 3.
To strike enacted 3. Enacted 3 says, just for reiteration, request that the Texas legislature fund this unfunded mandate. So with that, do you want to explain why you want to strike it real quick?
Yes, my explanation is, and I'm sure there's going to be debate again, so I'd like to respond to, but I think it dilutes the purpose of this bill. This is something the university is already doing with money that they already have. And so what we're really asking for from the Texas legislature is not more money to fund the exemption. It's money to fund other things that we can't fund because we're funding the exemption. I think we should continue funding the exemption, and I support this bill, but I think it kind of distracts us if we're also lobbying the Texas legislature and the administration with the same bill. Next year, we're going to address funding, and we're going to be going to the legislature with a lot of different things, and this should definitely be part of that. But I think it dilutes the current purpose of what we're doing here.
Okay.
So,
with that, I'll hear debate against the Bowen amendment. Who wants to debate it? I'll see Senator Mantry.
I was at the hearing with Dr. Lofton, and I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The fund, we have to, sorry, this modification to the Hazelwood Act, I think, is going in effect next year. It hasn't been in effect yet, so the university has to fund a lot of what it's not funding right now in order to pay for veterans, dependents, and spouses. Secondly, this is a really important issue. If we don't have the funding, then this is going to really hurt our university. We already are getting funding cuts, and having to pay, it sounded like millions of dollars for this initiative is going to hurt. So I think we need to start now. We need to lobby the legislature to fund this because it's going to be an uphill battle, and we need to start it now.
Point of information.
Stage point.
Mr. Speaker, if you could just clarify for me,
Yes,
this enacted 3 is asking us to lobby the legislature, comma, does this not expire before the legislature would meet in a year from now?
Correct. So technically, this will go on record in the SGA code, I'm sorry, the archives, not the code. I apologize. The archives. This will go on record in the SGA archives that the 64th session of the Student Senate asked the state legislature to provide more funding. Currently, there's not a state legislature to go directly lobby, and in other words, one in session. There's not currently one in session to go lobby. It will go on record, for whatever, and also for whatever that's worth, future Senates would see that we asked this, but there's no, that you couldn't, state legislature couldn't pass anything, and you're right, it would expire before they would actually meet.
So, one other quick point of information, can this be changed to an act, or is that out of order?
That's a good question, Scott. Can this bill be changed to an act and go in the code?
Yes, it could. It would have to be amended because a bill, a statute is a statute. You can't change it into a bylaws bill, and you can't change it into a constitutional amendment, but you can change it to, you can expand the scope of the bill, I guess, to amend the code.
Right. So this, because it's not currently an act, but we could make it an act.
You can make it one.
But that would require a little bit of doohicking because we'd have to actually write in the changes to the code, right?
Right.
So we would probably want to postpone it to later in the meeting so someone can write that amendment if that's what somebody wanted to do. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
But this amendment has to pass or fail prior to doing that, is that not correct?
Correct, yeah. The Bowen amendment would have to, I would advise that the Bowen amendment pass or fail first. That would be my...
It has to. Well, actually, it doesn't.
It doesn't technically.
You can table it.
You can table it with the unanswered question of your amendment. But I would advise against doing that. Okay. So with that debate, hold on a second, we get the time to reset. Debate for the Bowen amendment. Chair Harris.
I'll go ahead and debate for this just on the fact that we're asking the state legislature to do something that they cannot do. It is not in the power of the state legislature to act unless you're going to get the governor to call a special session, which good luck with that. You're not going to get the state legislature. This probably won't make it through the bureaucracy of our state government until it's already expired. And so let's just, I'm not saying that I don't agree with the purposes of it, but if you want to go back and make it an act, I'll go through and help you do that. But for right now, if we're going to just consider this as a standard bill, then we need to go ahead and strike down enacted 3 because we're asking somebody to do something that they cannot do.
Okay, with that, whoops, let me get the timer back. Okay, we'll move to debate against the Bone Amendment. Senator Davis.
I'm debating what Scott has proposed, right?
Yes, debate against the one Scott proposed.
Texas legislators, they're really cool people. And there's a primary in a few weeks. And one surefire way to assure some of the things you want to do is to corner them in a primary. And I think this kills 2 birds with 1 stone. It gives us the formal advantage of asking them as they're running for something, will you try to fund this? And they get to be put on the spot, yes or no. And so, as a political science major, I'm trying to learn how to think this way. And I'm thinking keeping that in there is going to be a good thing. So not only to the state legislator here, but when y'all go home for the summer, before May 29th, try to ask your state legislator this. It backs them in a corner, it helps the school out, and I don't think it really distracts too much from the bill because we're against a timetable, which is May 29th. And with that, I yield to Scott.
Okay, after consulting with a couple of people, I'm actually against my own amendment. I was under the impression that this was something the university was already funding. I was not aware that the funding for the Hazelwood Act was currently coming from state funding, and that the changes to it would make it so that state funding would go away. So all we're asking them to do is replace funding that they're already giving us for a mandate. So with that, I'm perfectly fine with that. And I would actually, if I could also say that I would go ahead and advocate for passing this bill as is, and then we'll just either renew it or make it into an act in the next session when we go through our legislative agenda. So with that, I move the previous question on the amendment.
Okay, previous question on the amendment. Second, all in favor of previous question on the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, all in favor of the Bone Amendment, please say aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Nay. The Bone Amendment fails. We'll return to debate on the bill, which we haven't had yet. So, debate against SB 6496. Debate against, going once, going twice, seeing none, chair begins debate one side. We'll take a vote on SB 6496, the Hazelwood Act bill.
Can't vote. Say no. I think so.
Anybody need further time? Going once, going twice, we'll close it. And passes. Okay, with that, SB 6497, the Student Organization Licensing Modification Bills. Who's that? Okay.
Okay, I have an amendment I want to bring up for this bill. It's brought to me my attention by the lovely Sarah Edwards over here. What this bill is advocating for. Currently in this community, Bryan College Station, there is a branding and licensing agreement that has been extended from Texas A&M University to certain establishments, CC Curations, Screen Images, Hole in the Roof, what have you. Those type of organizations that do the A&M logo, maroon, the color maroon for our shirts, all those go through those outlets that have the licensing agreement. However, as student organizations here at this university, we are involved in several different funding brackets. Some of us have a lot of money, such as Business Student Council. Some of us have basically no money, like Aggie Relay, and work on donations. And we have to work off the best price that we can get for all of our shirts, all of our materials and merchandise. And it's in this licensing agreement, you have a price bracket that's kind of jacked up. I'm going to say it that way. For example, in CC Curations right now, for a student organization deal, you can get a set of t-shirts at $5 each, but you can go to businesses that are outside of this licensing agreement and get them for $3 even. $2, that's $2 a pop. And I can guarantee you with some organizations that work on a charity basis, that is a fortune. Now, I hate to use the word monopoly here, but I do know that the marketing and communications department does exist to make money. And as student organizations, we work on charities, philanthropies, and promoting selfless service. That's not something we should have to deal with, and I want to make sure that student organizations are able to make the best price assessment possible when they're trying to put forth their foot in the community to show their best. And when it comes to buying their t-shirts, their merchandise, their memorabilia for their organizations, I just think that's fair. I won't open that up for questions right now.
Okay, Sarah, question.
Brody, I really do apologize for asking this question. And it's nothing personal against you, and I thought that I was going to be 100% for this bill. I meant to ask you if I could try this. And I have to ask you, you know, being local, I sometimes do, and I do follow KPTX on Twitter, and there was a story put out that there was an Aggieland Outfitter shirt that doesn't represent things geographically correct in the SEC. And I have to ask you, in just your knowledge, do you think that that would have been protected underneath a licensing agreement? Like, do you think that that would have not happened had it been a company that A&M has a licensing agreement with?
Well, considering we're going into the SEC, I know that our marketing and communications department are working off the walls with the new agreements for the logos and branding that we're going to be doing this next year. As far as your question, Mark, I don't know. Because for one thing, with the protection, it has to be outlined in a contract, and I know we're still doing that. I know CC Curations is still doing that right now. As far as the broad scheme of things, I have no idea. That's my own fault.
Senator Roberts.
Peyton Roberts, off campus. I have 2 questions. Am I allowed to ask 2 questions?
Yeah, you got time.
Okay.
Or 40 seconds.
Texas A&M has Aggie trademark. How do we go about using that if they have a trademark, basically?
The university has a state trademark. It's licensed through the state. Now, it's not federal, so the word Aggie is not owned by Texas A&M University nationwide. I hate to say it. But it is anywhere in the state. The word Aggie, if it goes on anything, then if A&M finds out about it, then they're entitled to a royalty. That works.
Okay, that's our time for question and answer. So for that, we'll go into a period of
speakers. I move to amend this bill.
Okay, motion to amend the bill. Can you offer that, or tell us what it is?
Yes, I move that.
Yeah, I was saying, but
Please go on with the bill.
Big call. Want to fight?
Always.
Go down to whereas 7. Okay, I move to insert the words after the word parentheses Aggie. After I wanted to say, which is a state licensed word under Texas A&M.
Which word? Sorry.
Whereas 7.
Okay, point of information.
Just say, I guess.
State licensed word under.
How do we know that whereas 9 is true? I don't, you know?
Well, I think number 7 sort of answers it.
Yeah.
That it, I think his amendment sort of answers that which is a state licensed word under Texas A&M University trademark. Should there be the word trademark after Texas A&M University? Texas A&M University trademark. Is that right, Sarah?
I don't know the actual lingo, so
Okay.
I don't know that it's not right. What I do.
I don't know either.
I think that when you talk about the umbrella of the university, I pretty much know.
Okay, all right.
Point of information, are there not tons of schools that go by Aggie, tons of media that go by Aggie? Aggie is a shortened version of the name Agatha, and lots of other places in which the word Aggie shows up. without having to pay a royalty to Texas A&M
Right,
University.
yeah. So the point that Chair Smith is making is that in the state of Texas, it's a licensed trademark. So if it's within the state borders. So the amendment is, which is a state licensed word under Texas A&M University. So can we try and do this just by unanimous consent? Does anybody object to that?
I second that.
I've got a point of something. Isn't whereas 9 kind of contradicting? If we're saying down there, Texas A&M does not own the word Aggie, but up there we're saying Aggie is a state licensed word.
So we have to go out of the state to use the word Aggie?
Basically, correct to my understanding.
Sell word Aggie without word.
Right, okay. So Chair Harris just described it. Outside of the state of Texas, you don't have to pay A&M royalties if you use the word Aggie and you sell merchandise. Inside the state of Texas, if you sell merchandise using the name Aggie, then you pay royalties to Texas A&M University. That's how the law works. Is that correct, Sarah, to your understanding? I only ask you because Brody said he got those from you.
Right, I was contacted from the marketing office clarifying that they had a concern with whereas 9 because Texas A&M actually did have state regulation over the word Aggie. That is the extent of my knowledge on how this works.
Okay.
So to be completely candid, that's what I know.
Okay.
Marketing was concerned because that was factual.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and ask unanimous consent to make this particular amendment. Is there any objection to this particular amendment? Going once, going twice. Okay. That amendment is made. So with that, we'll move into debate on the bill. So, okay, Senator Roberts.
Strike whereas 9.
Okay, so there's been a motion to strike whereas 9, and it's been seconded. Okay, unanimous consent's been asked. Is there any objection to striking whereas 9 entirely? Going once, going twice. Okay, whereas 9 is now stricken. So, okay. So with that, we'll move to debate on the bill. We'll hear a debate against SB 6497. Debate against the bill. Senator Cleckley, is that a double against?
Nah, it was not meant to be. It was a single against. Okay. You gotta get the double first. Single. I gave up on doubles. Too much. Alcohol reference. I'm having a problem. So guys, I was confused for this bill. It is a great deal for students. Then I was made aware of a few things. Just tonight, and I don't know, I guess my support got shot in the foot. But I was under the illusion that CC Creations was the only company with this licensing agreement and that it was a true monopoly. But there are other companies that have this licensing agreement, and therefore it's not a monopoly, it's competition like the rest of America. Yippee! And that licensing agreement exists to prevent people like UN Outfitters, sorry, to make sure it's my size, from screwing up. There's an accountability measure there made with these companies, and that the agreement's there to protect student organizations as well as the university. That if a student organization messes up or gets their shirts messed up by CC's creation, that looks really bad on them for all other student organizations. So there's a lot of accountability built into this licensing agreement that I think is going to be lost if we just start going willy-nilly all over the place to get our shirts. These are companies that the university is deemed reputable enough to make A&M products, which I think is something really cool, that there are only certain companies allowed to use our licensing items. I think that it's a really good thing that we're going to get quality products and not screwed over as a student organization. That was a They don't have to. Perfect. And you good know.
Okay, with that, we'll move to Chair Smith for.
Howdy. All right. Reason I wrote this bill, being involved in so many organizations, I had to work with CC Creations and Screen Images for so long. While they are under the licensing agreement, here's what we got from their orders. Missing shirts, blotches, and smears all over their shirts and their ink. There were holes in the cloth and fabric, yet when you go, and they charged their price 2 years ago, it was $3. This year it's $5. But now you've got businesses in the area that want to have business with Texas A&M, and they're asking for the licensing agreement. And the one thing is, they're giving better quality, better service, lower prices, and I think student organizations should be able to tap into that because it's, as Mark said, it's business. And I want to make sure that we as students get the best bang for our buck. And I yield for.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, I move for previous question.
Motion has been made for previous question. All in favor, it's been seconded. All in favor of previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. We will take a vote on SB 6497. Keep your clickers out and ready.
University should be created. I missed a lot of
I did too.
We'll close it in 3, 2, 1. So, with that,
Mr. Speaker, I move to amend the period of presentation to 1 minute of presentation with 1 minute of question and answer and debate to 1 minute for recognition for a total of 6 minutes of debate.
I'm sorry, is that 1.5 minutes per side for a total of 6 minutes per bill?
No, 1 minute per recognition.
I'm sorry, 1 minute per recognition.
1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
And just to clarify, what happens? Scott. Just to clarify, what happens if? So is it limited to 6 recognitions and limited to 6 minutes? Or is it limited to 6 minutes, however many recognitions we get?
We'll go with that first.
Okay, so maximum of 6 recognitions, maximum of 1 minute each. So theoretical maximum, or a total bound of 6 minutes. With that, I'm sorry. Seconded, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Committee Chair, the ayes do have it. We are.
Mr. Speaker, I move for a riot.
Second. That is technically out of order. So.
Mr. Speaker, I call quorum.
Okay, quorum has been called. Everybody get in your seats. We need to take a count. So stay where you are and stay seated. We're going to count everybody.
You can do that too. It's a group thing.
Yeah, I got it.
It wasn't the old prosecution.
Okay, we do have quorum. We do have quorum. So let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. All right, SB 6498, minor and legal reasoning creation bill.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Okay, this bill basically creates a minor legal reasoning. It's kind of similar to a couple of programs that are available around the state and Baylor, Texas Tech, and TU. These are all programs that have bona fide law programs. And the thing is, we don't have them. We probably won't have them for 40 to 50 years. But Senator Mark Womack and I had to sit down with Karen Watson, and she said we would like to have one. And we have to start somewhere. This is really, really simple. We have the classes on campus to do this. The only thing we have to do is just go to the individual deans and make sure that they will allocate seats for this. And that's all it's going to take to implement this minor. It's going to be an 18-hour minor. From what I've heard from the AOC deans, it's going to take maybe a year until it's finally in print. But other than that, this is something that several students have asked for in lots of liberal arts and even business classes that I've been in. Not talking about everybody, Mark, just some people that I've talked to. But this is something that I think down the road will be needed. So, questions?
Okay, and I'm sorry, how many minutes did you take a question? One? Okay.
Holy cow.
Senator Clinton.
Hey, what administrators in the College of Liberal Arts have you talked to that said, no, we can't do this, and that's why it's not done?
I talked to Don Curtis, who is our assistant dean. He said we can't do it, implement it right now, because for one thing, we have to get the permission from the individual deans and departments to get this minor done. That's why it's going to take over a year.
Cool. Senator Riley.
Take Riley College back. Why was the certificate in pre-law dissolved 2 years ago?
There wasn't a lot of push behind it. Karen Severn is our only pre-law advisor. I asked her about it. She said it wasn't really needed because there's no real set track that we have to have here at this university to go to law school. But it is a fact, if people want to specialize in law, we do have some classes here that people can take for a certificate that would allow them to do that.
Okay, Senator Roberts.
What's the difference between this and a minor sociology pre-law track? 15 hours.
For one, you would be taking credits in the College of Science and also in the College of Business as well.
Okay, and that concludes our time for question and answer. Women to appear in the debate against this bill, Senator Clark.
I don't think it's appropriate for us to use our student voice to advocate for something that doesn't affect 49,200 of the students that we represent and serve on this campus. I don't think it's wise to use taxpayer dollars to pay for programs that already exist in quasi-relative areas, and I don't think it's appropriate for the 64th session to really advocate for something that is already in the works for being in a year from now. And I don't understand why I have to be the one to say all these logical things.
You should get the minor.
Never.
Okay, does that conclude your time?
Yeah, sure.
That is recommendation one. With that, I'll see Chair Barber.
Senator Clifton, with all due respect, I failed to follow your logic once again. Very much so. And Brody, if you want to, you can address some of these things specifically, but not going to cost any money, correct me if I'm wrong. Just has to formalize the process. You also address the concern that we're affecting small numbers of students. Well, we can get into that, but this body has never had a problem with that in the past. So we're here to, I'll let you go. I'll just yield to Brody. I'm done.
Okay. Drew, you are absolutely correct. The number of law students that go to law school from Texas A&M University is very, very small. It's around 800 students a year. For another thing, with this, it's going to cost basically nothing. We just have to make sure that the deans know that we're going to allocate seats for this program. I know we have a couple of programs that may be similar, but for one thing, they're not comparable to programs around the state that have pre-law tracks. And this is so similar that when we have to implement our law program 40 to 50 years from now, we won't really need to because we have a program in base that will already work.
Okay, is there a discussion? Motion for previous questions been made and seconded. All in favor of previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Share the opinion, share the ayes. Sure. SB 6498, we're going to take a vote. And who needs more time? Okay, couple. All right, going once, going twice. Close it. And this passes. With that, we'll move into SB 6499, SOSC donation reallocation bill.
Howdy.
Howdy.
For any student organization that gets donations to their organization, if they get it mailed to them or sent via Marketplace, it has to go through the Texas A&M Foundation. Now, the foundation, upon receiving these checks or these money allocations, takes a 5% cut. Now, here's where I have a problem with this. For organizations like the Wells Project, for the American Red Cross Club here at Texas A&M University, that send money to Africa, to people that really, really need, like wells on the ground, water to drink, disaster relief in Haiti, I have a big problem with that, especially when it's going to save lives. No offense to the foundation, I know they do a great job getting money for us, but when they take money away from life-saving initiatives and service-related initiatives, which we as Aggies stand for, then I have a problem with it. That's the only reason I wrote this.
10 seconds.
Questions?
Okay, yeah, moving to questions. Senator Andrea first.
I'm an engineer. The SOFC, how are they funded? And does any of this 5% go to fund them?
What was that again?
Does any of that 5% cut go to fund the Student Organization Finance Center itself?
Not
How are they funded?
Not that I'm aware of. That 5% goes directly to the foundation.
Senator Roberts.
How do donors get tax deductible? How do their donations become tax deductible if this is good?
Student organizations can apply for W-9s and also for 501Cs, and that's the way they would get it.
Further questions, 30 seconds. Senator Woolsey.
Yeah, Chris Woolsey, Northside. So if organizations had to apply for those tax things, wouldn't that be more burden on the students?
Well, some of them already have to. If you're part of national organizations such as the American Red Cross, American Cancer Society, Habitat for Humanity, you already have to have those anyway, and they're required by the Student Organization Finance Center in order for your organization to exist because you are a part of those national organizations. So that's where that's coming from.
Okay, and that concludes our time for question and answer. Motion to appear in debate against the bill. I will see anyone who wants it. Going once, going twice, that's debate 4.
No, sorry, against.
Against, okay, Senator Roberts.
My organization is working on a 401c3, so we don't have to get that 5% taken out of, but it's really difficult, not only 800 organizations are going to do it. I think since we're part of Texas A&M, 5% can go to Texas A&M, the foundation does great things. I like the intent of the bill, but I trust our university, so I'm against it.
Okay, with that, we'll move into debate 4. I'll see Chair Harris. I'm sorry. Smith.
I'll yield to Senator Brown.
Oh, no, go ahead. You go first. I'll
For one thing, 5% from the foundation is a pretty big thing, especially for you get individual donors. I know for one thing, for the American Cancer Society with Aggie Relay for Life, we're really fortunate that we have our major donors that come to us on the night of relay, so it never has to go through the SOFC. Especially when we have donors that donate $10,000 a pop. I do not think 5% needs to go to go to the foundation, especially when it's going to research positions here at this university, people that are going to be working here to find a cure for cancer, and this is similar to several other student organizations across this campus. I understand the foundation's intent. They need to raise money to keep this university going. That is their motivation, and I respect that. But we as students and student organizations are here to promote leadership, responsibility, and selfless service amongst ourselves. We need to keep that money in our hands to make the best we can of it. And I yield to Senator Brown.
3 seconds.
Hey, if I was to donate a large amount of money to any of these organizations, I'd want it to go to them because that's what I wanted it to go to. So why would we have it go anywhere else but where the donor wanted it to go?
Okay, debate against. Motion for previous question has been made. Is there a second? It's been seconded. All in favor of previous question, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? And in show of the ayes we have it. We are moving to previous question, SB 6499. We will take a clicker vote. And 1, 2, 3, close. Wonderful. Pass. Okay. All right, keep with me, folks. We're almost through it. SB 64-101, University Excused Absence Policy Amendment Bill. Whose is this? Okay.
All right, howdy.
Howdy.
What this bill does, it asks for an amendment to the excuse absence policy that's here underneath the student rules. Right now, there's people who are involved in student organizations. It's your choice to be so. But for who in here has gotten a national FFA degree, American Farmer degree? You, Rachel?
What did you say?
Have you gotten an American Farmer degree, Jody? Woo! Okay. American Farmer degree is a part of SAEP program that comes with you from high school, but it also follows you to college. What is that? It's basically where you took your supervised agricultural experience project and you made something of it. And you went on to a national competition with your record book and also to the national convention in order to receive an award. It's a prestigious award. And that's another thing. That type of event is not covered under the excuse absence policy at this university. You work so hard, I know you put in your time, it's by choice to be involved in these student organizations in order to do those things and get those awards. But I'm asking for, in this bill, 2 absences. Once per semester for 1 absence where you can go to these national events and these student organizations. That way you don't get counted absent for being involved.
Okay, that's their question. First question.
Brody, I do like the idea of this bill. I just want to know why do you qualify to 1 per semester when no other excused absence policy is qualified?
Well, for one, it's up to teacher discretion whether or not
Always.
But for some teachers, they'll say no. But when you're involved in student organization by choice, that you have constitutional requirements in your position as leader, you might have to go to a national summit or to a regional meet that's on a school day, and as that leader position.
So if you have to do it more than once, only one is covered by the excused absence policy.
Yes. Well,
So you're screwed the other time.
Yes.
Okay, Chair Thornburg. 20 seconds.
You say there's only 2 absences, but like when you go to Indianapolis, you're not there for 1 or 2 days. You're there for probably the whole week to get ready for everything. How do you explain that going into this?
When I went, I only went for the day that I got my award, and then I flew back the night of. And I was groggy the next day, but I had my Star American pen with me, and I was happy to have that.
Okay, with that, we'll move to debate against.
Mr. Speaker, I have an amendment to the thing.
There's an amendment. Senator Collective, can you please explain your amendment?
I'd like to strike number 2.
Enacted 2 or?
Nope, just the number 2. And let it be enacted 1, the one that's highlighted.
Oh, I see. Have excused absences?
Yes, for their attendance at those each year. Does that still make sense to you?
Yes, it does make sense now.
Perfect.
Okay, so just the digit 2.
Perfect.
That is the shortest amendment we've ever done.
And it came from Mark Buckley with an LEY.
So which clause?
I'm sorry.
Do you want an explanation?
I'm sorry. Yeah, you give a quick couple second explanation.
Hey, so you don't know how many people are going to die in your family per semester. You don't know how many of these events are. It's the same thing in my mind. And it's excused absence, and it's an excused absence. You don't qualify. It's inappropriate to do so.
Okay, great. Debate against the Cleckley amendment. Debate against the Cleckley amendment. Going once. Going twice. Chair sees no debate against the Cleckley amendment.
That's an LEY.
Yes, we don't take the minutes. Usually officiate. So anyway, with that, yeah, back forward. Okay, so with that, we'll take a vote on the Cleckley amendment. All in favor of the Cleckley amendment, please say aye. Aye. All opposed. If it is shown that the Cleckley amendment passes, the digit 2 is stricken. With that, we'll move into debate.
Mr. Speaker.
Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on. I'll see Senator Brown first.
Oh, we're working on one right now, and then it's basically.
Okay, can you explain it to everybody and get it to us in writing?
Basically, we're working on putting a let it be enacted clause to include job interviews, career fairs as part of the university excused absence policy. My thought on this is the point of you going to college and getting a degree is to get a job for those people, and not allowing you to miss a class. And I understand, we can debate this later on how many should be allowed or whatever, but I mean, I feel like if you've got a job interview, your boss's head, or potential boss's head needs you in on this day, they need to allow you to miss class to go do a job interview or go to that ACE day or whatever your career fair is.
Okay, with that, debate against the Brown amendment. Hold on, we'll wait 1 second. We'll wait 1 second so you can see this in writing. Give us 1 second. We're going to type it up.
A lot of people listen to the 30-yard line where you just put little ball. People would listen.
Okay, so there it is. Do you see where it changed? Right, blinking cursor. Okay. Any opposition? Unanimous consent's been asked. Anybody object? Anybody want to discuss it? Object? Yes. Okay, all right. So, I assume you want to debate against, so I'll give first debate against Senator Manager.
I would have phrased this as a question, but if we can. I have a problem with this. First of all, it should have been done in committee. This isn't changing the intent of the bill, the whole idea of the bill. Second of all, this could be used by students. I'm afraid that some students will abuse this and say, oh, well, I have a test on Thursday, but if I schedule my job interview during that test, then I won't have to take it. There are a lot of implications we have, and this just needs to be discussed, not taken as a last minute amendment. With that, I yield to the floor.
Okay, that's a real thing. With that,
I yielded to her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I talked
30 seconds.
to some freshmen on the 2015 Facebook page about this, and they were worried about taking this into, they were worried what organizations this would refer to and how, the extent that this could reach, and this just furthers the extent of this bill. I don't even know if it makes sense, but they thought that this could be, what is the word I'm taking advantage of. And
10 seconds.
That's what they thought. Thanks, and I yield 9 seconds.
Debate 4, Chair Harris.
All right, so this does not change the intent of the bill, guys. This adds something to a bill. That is the nature of an amendment. Basically, this is the most important thing. We are here to get a job. That is sort of the purpose of college, unless you want to stay here for 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10 years. But yeah, guys, this is pretty simple. I don't think that you can abuse anything. You could abuse when I went to get my American FFA degree.
30 seconds.
I could have said, oh, I'd have to actually be there for the whole convention and taking like a whole week off of school. This is important stuff. You need to be able, you're going to have to take the test at some point. It's not just you're avoiding the test. You're going to retake the test at some time, and I yield to Senator Brown.
The purpose of the bill is to amend the University Excused Absence policy. We're trying to do that so we can include what the purpose is that we have at this college, which is to get a degree and get a job. If you got a job interview, you got a job interview, you got ACE, you got ACE. Yeah, if you want to be that student and try to get out of things, you're going to do it anyway. Go get your job interview.
Previous question. Previous question's been made. Seconded. All in favor of previous question, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any show the ayes do have it. We are moving to voting on the Bowen amendment. Brown. Brown. They look the same in my chicken scratch. All in favor of the Brown amendment, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Then share the ayes do have it. The Brown amendment is made. With that, we'll go to debate on SB 64-101. Is there any debate against the bill? Going once. Going twice, seeing none, chair to debate one side. We'll take a vote on SB 64-101. You can print this out. We're ready. And going once, going twice, and we're going to close it. Okay.
Point of information.
Yes, Steve.
Hypothetically, if we were to adjourn, what would happen to the rest of the stuff?
It could never be passed.
Yes.
SB 64-102, Veterans Priority, we are extended till 11:30 if I didn't tell y'all that. SB 64-102, Veterans Priority Registration Bill, let's do it quick.
All right, real quick. Once upon a time, veterans got to register early and they never went through an error that had a sister or a father got to register early, so they took it all away and they redid it. So now veterans don't get to register early. They told us at our meetings, they said, we want to give veterans the ability to register early, but you can't just come to us and ask us. You need to do something with it, trying to give us the hint. This specifies giving U3s and U4s the ability to register early, but not the other veterans, because let's face it, freshmen and sophomores really don't need to register early. So this is doing what they asked us to do because they want to do this, and this is basically a way to, well, just do just that. Sound good? Okay, any questions?
Okay, questions. Senator Mandry first.
Why don't freshmen and sophomores need to register early? I know honors freshmen and sophomores get to register early, so why not veterans?
Because let's face it, most freshmen and sophomores, you're really not going to be kicked out of the class that you need to get because most general classes in your freshman or sophomore year can apply for just about any degree. With the problem with U3s and U4s, if it is not on a veteran's degree plan, the GI Bill does not pay for it. So it's important for them to get into those classes.
I'll come back, man. Okay, Senator Mandry, you have your call.
Okay. I know a lot of freshmen and sophomores have a hard time getting into those core classes because a lot of juniors and seniors are in them right now. So would you maybe consider supporting freshman and sophomore early registration? What are your thoughts on that?
They came to us and said we are not going to give everyone priority registration. It's not that they don't want to, it's just it's a hard sell up the chain. This is trying to start an open dialogue, start to wedge open the door to get this to happen.
And just for my clarification, we're talking only about freshmen and sophomore veterans.
Yes,
that's right. Okay, I just want to make sure that everybody knows what we're talking about. Okay, with that, we'll move into a period of debate. Any debate against the Veterans Early Priority Registration Bill?
Yeah.
Going once, going twice, seeing none, chair needs to be one side. We'll take a vote on SB 64-102. This clicker voting was like one of the best things we ever did.
Besides moving the
Going once, going twice, and we're going to close. Do you remember when voting used to take us like 5 minutes with ballots? Oh, do I? Okay, did we close?
By the way,
Okay.
well, I put it in the bio.
All right, with that, SB 64-104, Direct Buy Textbook Experiment Bill.
Okay. Howdy. Okay. Y'all are all familiar with some of the discussions we've had with open source textbooks, but this came from a discussion that I had back in the spring of 2011 with Pam Matthews, who is the Vice Provost of Academic Affairs. There was an experiment done in the University of Houston where one of their college departments had a direct buy arrangement with a publisher. So all of that department's books and their classes were provided directly to the students at their set prices. The prices were around 40% less than just community bookstores. That's something I would love to see implemented here on this university. Have every single department in college considered equally kind of a lot drawing and see if we can do that. I've talked with Dr. Matthews about this before, and I know this is something that's being implemented through open source textbooks, but I want to take it one step further and see if we can get the ball rolling. And I know there is feeling for this in the administration. Let's touch on it.
Okay, with that, are there any questions for the bill author? Senator Williamson.
Senator Williamson off campus. Under this program, I'm not sure if this is just proposing that a program be created, but under this program, would you have the option of buying your book online?
Yes.
News provider?
Yes.
Great. Okay, further questions? Going once, going twice, seeing none, chair will close question and answer. We'll move to consider debate. Is there any debate against SB 64104? Going once, going twice, seeing none, chair needs to move inside. We'll take a vote on SB 6. Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Andrews.
I ask unanimous consent in whereas 5 to strike the getting the same information.
While still getting the same
strike the
information.
most at the end of that sentence because it's just
Getting the best, the most knowledge.
Oh, I see. So, what exactly are you saying?
strike the most.
The most.
Or if someone wants to me the best.
Any objection to striking the words "the most"? Going once, going twice. Okay, that is stricken. With that, now going into debate. Is there any debate against going once, going twice, seeing none, chair needs to move inside. We'll take a vote on SB 64104. And is there any further debate?
Probably.
Who needs more time? Okay, going once, going twice. Close it, or it's closed already. Okay, great, that passed unanimously. With that, Senator Lastabika, did you have a motion?
I just have a question.
Okay, so, yeah.
Do y'all proof these to make sure that like Dr. Kenner's name is not right before it goes to him?
I do my best to prove them, but if you see something.
Well, she's been on a lot of these and her name is not spelled right, so.
If I don't know, I don't know how to spell it.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm
pointing it out.
Okay, could you send me an email just because I'll forget otherwise? Thank you. Okay, 64-107, before we do it.
I moved to give Amy speaking privileges.
Okay, motion to give advisor Amy Lloyd speaking privileges for presentation, question, and answers. Been seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Nay. Opinion share the ayes. We have it. With that, SB 64-107, Greenfield Policy Act. You may begin your presentation.
Howdy.
Howdy.
So, like I told y'all last 2 weeks ago, this is the Greenfield policy that has been in effect for I don't know how long. There's a couple of changes that were made. The first of which is that the SGA coordinator is no longer in this current form, is no longer considered a voting member of the appeals board, and then the chief justice also is no longer considered, or sorry, it's only a tie-breaking vote. Other than that, those are all the major changes. Besides formatting.
Yeah, it changed around the timeline a little bit to make it
yeah.
sync better with our bylaws. And if you could scroll down a little bit, it also declared kind of where it goes in the SGA code. I know these changes look daunting, but it's really a lot of rearrangement. 10 seconds.
Most of it's formatting.
So if you go to review and then show final, then it'll show you what it looks like in the end. I don't know why things are purple, that should be red. There we go.
Okay,
Just
that
the Constitution.
That's all. With that, we'll move into question and answer, starting with Senator Clerk.
Mark Lilly, without mentioning names, has anybody been affected by not having this in this session at all?
It's, the reason this bill came about is because nowhere in our Constitution, in any bylaws or any statutes, is this process outlined. However, remember every semester, at least that I've been in this position, and I believe Mark Womack, when he was in the position, they have had an appeal process, but it's never been outlined. And so before I left, I just wanted to make sure it was outlined. So in the event that a member in SGA got kicked out because of grades and they appealed, someone could come back and say, oh, your appeal is invalid because this isn't outlined anywhere. So
Right,
that's why.
and there have been students that I know of who have appealed their grades, appealed any grade deficiency and won, and been kept in because of the appeal. So this just makes sure that, and the other change I added in that we forgot to mention was that now when grade notices are sent out, the entirety of this article is included in that grade notice. So students know exactly what the appeal process is and what they have to do in order to maintain their status. And there have been instances in the past where students have maintained their status through appeal. And so this just adds some transparency to that process while maintaining confidentiality.
Okay, with that, we'll move into a period of debate. Is there any debate against this bill? Senator Clinton.
Rules and regs, don't do it. We've been fine without it, let's keep being fine without it. I debate against it all the time because rules and regs are the death of humanity and terrible. And Scott Bowen has now broken his promise to me upon his election. This is the third rules and regs bill brought before this body under his now deficient leadership.
Objection. Can we strike deficient leadership from the record?
There's no record.
Okay, with that, I will, are you yielding?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, all right, great. Senator, Chair Bowen, you got it.
Senator Fleckley, this is the second bill that has since I have taken up the chairmanship, to my knowledge of
Stand withdrawn.
And this is a good process. I'm very proud of Vice President Usher for bringing this forward, and I think it's a great bill. This is something that's needed to be done for a long time, and I yield to Senator Thornburg. Chair Thornburg.
Chair Thornburg, College of Ag and Life Sciences. Well, as you're all probably aware, I used to be Rules and Regulations Chair, and we went through an issue that regarded this, and it was a really rough time, not only for me as a chair, but for the Senate as a whole and for SGA as a whole. And so I think for the sake of humanity and for the students of Texas A&M, you need to pass this so we don't have to deal with all the kind of, how do I say this, inappropriate waste of time of trying to fight with people about their grade policies and seeing whether they're right or if they're wrong and whether the appeals should be sustained or not. So please vote for this.
I moved the previous question.
Second. I heard the amendment first.
Okay, but I let you know first that I had it.
You did, but I heard him first. I can't
We stood up at the same time.
I can't just give you preference. Sit down. You didn't tell me beforehand, but he made the motion properly first. I can't just give you preference because you came up and whispered in my ear. Senator Womack, what is your amendment?
Well, sorry about that, Scott. I feel like mom and dad are fighting. Sorry, I want to get so, notwithstanding that, Speaker,
Okay, great, thank you. And this is, you want to strike shall be a non-voting member of the board and. Yes, yeah. Just a brief explanation for the sentences.
Okay, so just real quickly, the amendment would just strike, the administrative coordinator shall be a non-voting member of the board. That's stricken out because that actually violates student activities rules. So probably not a good idea to have
Point of
it.
information.
Yes.
What student activities rule does that violate?
I actually just spoke with Rusty Thompson, who is the secondary advisor for SGA and the associate. I don't know his, yeah, he's the boss. I don't know his name. He pointed to the fact that all grade policy in student activities has to be made, or the decision has to be made by an advisor, and how they want to include students in that.
Okay, that's not what I asked, but was what rule does it violate?
I don't know the name of the rule.
I don't know the name of the rule.
But I don't care.
Okay, with that, we will have here debate against Chair Bowen.
Scott Bowen, Rules and Regulations. There are a few reasons to be against this. The first one is that this would create a board of 4 members. That would be ridiculous. The second reason is that the current Constitution forbids advisors from taking up any decision-making role in SGA. This bill would become unconstitutional if we pass this amendment. And I don't like having unelected people or people who are not accountable to the student government making decisions for the student government. That's not what we should be doing. If this policy is against what's against student activities policy, then obviously student activities policy is going to win out, and that'll happen when it happens. But for right now, there's no reason for anyone who is not a student to be voting on what happens to students. That's just not how we should be running things. We've intentionally spent the last several years taking out instances in the bylaws, in the Constitution, in the statutes of that happening. So I'm against this amendment. I'm against any amendments. This is great the way it is. I'm wondering why none of these issues were brought up in committee. And with that, I mean, I would move the previous question, but I can't, so I'll yield to the floor.
Okay, great. Senator Womack.
Yeah, so obviously there were amendments to this bill. This is just my amendment. You had a bunch of amendments that were changing the coloring around, so amendments are fine. The reason why this needs to happen is because it's in line with student activities rules. As Senator Bowen pointed out, or Chair Bowen pointed out, you know, student activity is going to win. So I think it's kind of counterproductive to our time to pass a bill that violates the organization that we fall under. As a person who actually was a part of this process, I can tell you that the advisor is not some unaccountable person. Everyone loves Mama Kaz, who helps work with this right now. She's extremely accountable. I would say actually much more accountable than any one person that is maybe on the executive cabinet, which are also unelected, or a particular senator because they're here for a long time. And that can be part of the process that has a long-reaching effect. Instead of just being put on there, a couple of students, and there you go. The advisor needs to play an important role in this. This is a part not only of student activities rules, it is a part of the process is the way it should happen. It is very difficult to make these decisions, and an advisor that's trained in this is absolutely critical to the process and should have a voting capability. Guys, they are completely essential to the process.
I move for previous question. Okay. Yes, I did. I know. When a motion has been made for previous question, there is a second. All in favor of previous question, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Nay. Any ayes have it. Division. Okay, division. All in favor, please stand. Got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All opposed, please stand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow, that was a loud negative. Okay, the amendment to chair previous question does pass. We will, now this is on the Bowen amendment, this is not on the bill. All in favor of the vote?
Womack amendment?
Yes, sorry. Womack.
I'm very I'm keeping going.
Okay, yeah. Okay, the Womack amendment. All in favor of the Womack amendment, which makes the strike that you see, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Nay. Chair calls on division. All in favor, please stand.
All in favor? All in favor of the amendment we're standing right now.
All in favor of the amendment to strike those words, please stand up.
Oh, wait, please stand. That's your amendment? Okay.
Sorry,
very confused.
Okay, hold on. All right.
Feminine one.
Make a decision. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, all opposed, please stand. Okay, I got 18. It fails.
I move for previous question.
I second his motion.
Okay, previous question has been called on the bill. It's been seconded. All in favor of previous question on the bill, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Nay. Madam Chair, the ayes do have it. We're taking a vote on SB 64-107.
Well, I'm not really paying attention. It's like,
Okay, who needs more time? Going once, going twice, and we're closing it. We can't reopen it. Sorry, I called it. Okay. With that, we'll move. I'm sorry. The Union Act. What? Do you remember the number?
I don't remember the number. It should be in your. Yeah,
it is.
I don't know the number though.
I don't remember the number. I'll find the number. Act Union.
There you go.
Okay, and this is the amended version. So this was passed out of the Constituency Affairs Committee.
Yeah, Scott's going to have an amendment as soon as we get done.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a consent type of amendment.
Okay, all right. How about it?
Howdy.
Howdy. Howdy. Howdy. Howdy.
we have here is the final version of the Aggie Union Act. I think as we've discussed before, we split this into two parts, whereas the actual act itself is just going to create the entity. It just say that, this thing exists under the Diversity Commission, and they kind of got to manage it. As far as making any actual parameters as to how it should work and what the membership should be and stuff like that, we put that in a resolution which will come up in a joint session. So because we feel that these should just be like recommendations from the Senate and non-binding, and then the actual act to create it is just here in the technical terms of that.
Ready for questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Senator Clark.
Oh, I want to direct this one. Oh, you can't talk. What? Perfect. Jeff, do you think that this, in a microcosm of Texas A&M Student Government Association, expands the role of government?
Do I think this creates an unnecessary bureaucracy? No, I do not. Do I think there is concern that could happen? Yeah, I do. That's why I like what Kevin and Jody and Brody,
30 seconds.
Jody and Brody are doing, saying that let's leave this to Diversity Commission to really figure out.
Follow?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Sure. So, do you think that this creates unnecessary bureaucracy?
No, I think it creates some purposeful vision for the Diversity Commission. Diversity should be about unity, and that's all that this is showing.
Senator Manager, 10 seconds, real fast. Okay. All right, that's pretty much your time right there. So with that, we're moving into debate. All this.
You have it?
Yes, we have it. Can you explain it real quick? We might be able to do it unanimously.
Basically, what this was is there was an error in the bill that that put this in the wrong place in the SGA code. This puts it in the right place.
Can you tell the body who told you that?
Former senator, former speaker Cody Easton.
So can we
still watching over us?
Is he watching right now? Hi, Cody. It's just a different part of the code. It's to the.
He's the Tim Tebow.
It's the from the SBP legislative conditions. Okay, so can we hold on? Everybody, pay attention to me up here. Hey. Can we ask unanimous consent? Does anybody object to fixing which part of the code it should go into? Going once, going twice, seeing none, that change is made. We're now into a period of debate. Debate on the Aggie Union Act, debate against.
Against.
Okay, I'll see Senator Woolsey first. I saw your hand first.
All right, Chris Woolsey, Northside. Something that I just see that is kind of wrong with our university is all this talk about, we need to be so diverse. I have a real problem with that. My football coach in high school, he told us we need to be one group. He didn't say, guys, we need to be diverse in our goal to win this game. All right, he said we need to be one team. All right, we're made up of different people, but we're still one team. All right, all this diversity stuff, that's just sending people in different ways.
30 seconds.
It's putting people against themselves. All right, and this is just making another little group for them to do their things which pull people apart. So this is bad, and I yield to
There's no reason for any other organization to have to answer to any other organization about how they want to be. If people don't want to fall under these rules, there's no reason. I run an organization, and I'm not going to subscribe my organization to anything that SGA has to say. It's not a part of SGA. Keep your hands off my organization.
Did you complete your sentence?
I did.
Okay, great. Chair Smith.
Okay.
Howdy.
This is a volunteer emphasis here. When you bring student organizations together and around a common cause, I'll give you an example. Aggie Relay for Life partnered with Phi Sigma Honor Society to put on a benefit concert. And the thing was, we made lots of money off of that concert. We could not have done it if we had not cooperated together. Here's what we got. We got more people going to Relay this Friday, and we got more people interested in Phi Sigma's tutoring program in their own organization. There's a benefit for both organizations here. Imagine if you bring more organizations together, work behind one cause. That is what we do. It is not so much as making them work for each other, but with each other. Jody, go for it.
All right, so to address Mark's concern, this doesn't mandate anything. This is completely voluntary. To address Chris's concern, this doesn't add anything. When we're talking about adding this to the Diversity Commission, this is a unity effort. This is talking about unity, uniting our, that's exactly what Chris said. You know, you're taking everybody, you're saying we're one. We are one. We're the Aggies, the Aggies are we. comma, this does not separate anybody, this is not necessary even promote diversity. So I was just a little confused about what Bruce was saying.
That was Alexis. No, don't do it.
Previous question has been called into section. All opposed?
Nay.
Third call division, all in favor, please
If you sit down, you can hear what Clegley has to say.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whoa, make a decision, make a decision, make a decision. Let's go.
Come on, guys.
Make a decision, please. Stand or sit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I got 23. Okay, all opposed, please stand.
Let him speak. I'm gonna go ahead and say what I said earlier. When things are trying to rush through, vote against. I get 3 per meeting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, previous question passes. I will mark the Senator Cleckley was out of order.
One time.
Twice, that's again.
Okay, with that, the previous question on the Aggie Union Act, please vote SP, whatever this is. I don't have a number. We'll figure it out.
Let's make it
I have a bill I want to bring to committee.
Okay, that's in order.
Is SB 64-108, the Thanksgiving holiday bill.
Okay, SB 64-108, Thanksgiving holiday bill. Bringing it from committee is non-debatable. I believe it's non-debatable.
This is why the other countries are winning. They got 5.
Hold on. I'll advise the body that we took Senator Castilleja's agenda down from the agenda. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just advising the body because one of my jobs is to make sure the body remembers, what they've decided to do. We did draw that down, so we still need to do that.
Which one did we?
Point of information.
Yes.
Resolutions can pass it, the other one, right?
Technically, yes, they can.
Perfect.
Okay, with that, a motion to adjourn has been made.
Did we win or lose?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you can close that. I'm so sorry. And it's an act, so that fails. No. Acts are majority. That's right, duh.
It's 1816.
So it does pass. It did pass.
1616.
Okay, with that, a motion to adjourn has been made.
Point of information is, what is the resolution that has not been voted on yet?
The resolution that is the Mr. John Kelly Selfless Service Recognition Resolution.
Motion for unanimous consent?
Mr. Speaker, there's a motion on it.
Yeah, hold on, everybody, hold on. Withdrawn?
Yep.
Okay. Wait, hold on, we're still on the motion. There's a motion to pull from committee. Do you want to withdraw real quick?
I'll withdraw.
Okay, great, thank you.
Motion unanimous consent.
Second, motion for unanimous consent for the John Kelly Selfless Service Recognition is, okay, all right. Is there any objection to the passing the Kelly Selfless Service Resolution? If you want to explain it, we can email it out. Is that okay? Okay, great. Going once, going twice, seeing no objection, the Selfless Service Recognition.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Second is passed, right?
Yes, the resolution just passed because of no objection. So, there's been a motion to adjourn. That is in order. It's been seconded. All in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay!
Whoa. Chair calls on division. All in favor, please stand.
One more bill we can pass.
We only have one more bill. One more bill.
Bill to pass. The after the calendar bill for Thanksgiving holidays.
I want to thank you. If you want to Thanksgiving holiday, sit down.
Bylaw bills can pass. Yes. With
20. So 20 against 21 for it requires 2/3, right?
Not they can't.
Scott, adjourning is 2/3?
I believe adjourning is majority. It doesn't say.
It isn't?
I don't want majority.
Yeah.
It does say right here it says majority.
Oh, that's, what does it say that?
Majority, first line.
First one.
Yes, you're right. I counted 21 for, 20 against, so that is a majority. So the meeting is adjourned. We will take closing roll call.
Perfect.
Oh, but.
I can do it.
Yeah, yeah, here, I got the word.
Only one more.
Yeah. All right, Senate, please remain in order.
Okay. SVP Pickering.
Yeah.
Roll. You actually get called during roll. What? Yeah, you're supposed to, according to the statute.
Oh,
Same way
yeah.
you're here. Yeah, I don't know why you Wilson.
Whoop for the last closing roll call I'll ever be a part of. Hey, whoop!
No, there's still a joint session.
We don't do closing.
Okay, Hathaway.
Will.
Myself. Smith.
Howdy.
Barber.
Howdy.
Nightegger.
Howdy.
McNutt. Harris.
Howdy.
Cowser. Golden.
Howdy.
Branson. Thornburg.
2012 ring check.